Don't mind me. I'm just sitting here reading a lawsuit filed against the city of of Mexico Beach by Michele Miller, the mayor. The mayor has sued the city council for violating the city charter. Oh boy. Now we're talking. You know, at the last meeting, she surprised everybody and said that she was bringing on a special investigator to do an internal investigation into the hiring practices of the city and to look into why the city is late on its annual audit. The last two audits weren't so hot in Mexico Beach either, by the way. The last two audits showed that they had one of the worst things you can have, internal problems, internal control problems. But Adrian Welly, the city councilman who knows more than everybody else about the finances, and I know this because he says so over and over. He used to be the city's financial director, and he was the city clerk. He says he knows where everything is, and he said if you did see it, it would be boring. If you saw where all the checks went. So he and Councilman Jerry Bad Liability Smith and Vice Mayor Richard Iron Fist Wolf, these three guys, along with Clint McCahill, the city attorney, they all say, what's the big deal, man? We get reports. Doug Baber gave us reports. Mario Gisbert gave us reports. And then Adrian Welly, the councilman, said, has anybody here never gotten a report? And the three guys said, I always get a report. I always get a report. And Adrian Welly said, yep, that's what I thought. As though he made some kind of point. Like it was a mic drop. No, it wasn't a mic drop. And wait till I tell you who the attorney is in this lawsuit filed by the mayor against the city because the councilman and the city attorney refused to follow the city charter, which is the constitution of the city. All right. It is a hot time in Mexico Beach, and I'm going to read you the lawsuit. I'm going to read you the lawsuit right after this.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
Hand caught in the cookie jar? Sometimes bad habits continue even into adulthood. I'm El Saline, 850-215-0628. Let me help you.
All right. Let me help you by sharing the laws. Look, you can see it yourself right there. Boom. Look at that, man. Holy smokes. Can you read this? It is filed in the 14th Judicial Court. It is a state action, so it's a local action. Michele Miller, as the mayor of Panama City Beach, I want to make sure I get this exactly right, is the petitioner, and she is suing the city of Mexico Beach, Florida City Council. They're the respondent. So this is a petition for writ of mandamus and injunctive relief. I think that means it is that the mayor is demanding that they do the right thing and that they stop doing the wrong thing. Now, I'm not an attorney. I just play one in real life. I do. Every time I get sued for defamation by the local politicians, I'm Bernie the attorney representing myself. I've learned more about defamation law than you'd ever believe. And ask fancy big shot attorney Michael Dickey, who was the attorney against, ask him how it went. You know, it doesn't matter how good you are as an attorney, and he is fantastic. He's really fancy. He's teaches law in college. And I beat him. I mean, come on, that's embarrassing. That would be like me walking into an MMA fight and I pull it off. I win. You know what I mean? Bernie beat the MMA guy. That ain't going to happen. You know why? Because reality eventually happens, right? And the reality was Michael Dickey was lying and I was telling the truth. But anyway, I think that's what it means. A petition that the city start doing the right thing and stop doing the wrong thing. And a judge would decide. All right, let me read this to you. 7 pages. It's not that long. Only really 5 to read. Because the first page is always sets up the jurisdiction and stuff. Petitioner Michele Miller, as mayor of the city of Mexico Beach, sues respondent city of Mexico Beach, Florida, city council, and alleges here is why she is suing. Oh, and I'd tell you who the lawyer was representing her in the case. It's Marie Maddox. Marie Maddox out of Tallahassee. And she is a powerful attorney with great conviction who nobody wants to get sued by. All right, that's who Marie Maddox is. This is an action to enforce the city charter, specifically the part about who's the mayor, the mayor's duties and responsibilities. That's section 2.07. This court has jurisdiction, the 14th Circuit. Venue is in Bay County. At all times, it's happened in Bay County. All right, so we got through the jurisdiction stuff. All right. Now, you hear these Three Stooges these days, and even the city attorney, crazy enough, Clint McCahill, oh my God, this is amazing. No longer is it just going to be an argument and a vote. Now it's going to be under deposition, under oath, and discovery. Hey, what did you guys say last year in 2022? What kind of government is Mexico Beach? Well, it's a mayor-council form of government, and the mayor is the CFO, CEO, according to the charter. That's what they said just last year. Let's see if I have that. I don't think I have that video handy, but I've shown it to you before. All right, so what are they going to say then? When they're in court and they're under oath and they got it, what kind of government is this? Well, it's a mayor-council form of government. At the last meeting, you had Vice Mayor Richard Iron Fist Wolf saying that we're trying to figure out if we're really a city manager city. But one thing we know, says Iron Fist, who's still trying to figure out how come the media can record the meetings. He's still, anyway, he says we're trying to figure out if we're really a city manager kind of city. This is as incompetent. I'm not kidding you. This is as incompetent as if you were to have, say your car is starting to give you some trouble. All right. It died on you. You're not sure if it's spark plugs. You don't know what the hell's going on, but the car keeps dying on you every time you make a left turn. And you say, I know what I'll do. I'll ask Bernie to fix the car. If you do that, the car will die on you when it makes a right turn as well. I don't know jack about cars, fixing cars. Richard Iron Fist Wolf doesn't know jack about local government. Yet he is voting on things that affect the city and more than $100 million of FEMA money. By the way, then there's that. All right. This is what is, so it's a mayor-council form of government, just like the charter says. See, there's no gaslighting when you're under oath in depositions. That's the problem they're going to have, I think. Part of the mayoral duties are chief elected administrative and fiscal official of the city. 2.07 of the charter. Just like I've been telling you, and just like you can see, actually, I do have that. Look, this is what the city charter says about the mayor. The mayor shall be, does that match? Let's see if it matches. Section 2.07 of the city charter. The mayor shall be, not might be, could be, should be, shall be. And that matters a lot in law. The chief elected administrative and fiscal official of the city. Let's see what the lawsuit says there on number, where was I? Number 7. Part of the mayoral duties are chief elected administrative and fiscal official for the city. Wow, it matches. Beginning on or around when she was elected, the petitioner, the mayor, in her role as fiscal official for the city, requested to have access to the city's financial records, including but not limited to accounts payable, accounts receivable, invoices, and purchase orders. Now, wouldn't you think that a CEO, the chief executive, and the CFO, chief financial officer, don't you think they ought to have that stuff to make sure, the voters are getting what they voted for and, that the charter is followed and all that jazz? Yeah. As of the date of this filing, which evidently was filed, I don't remember. I don't remember when this document was filed, but it was within the last couple of days, maybe today. So as of now, the respondent, the city, through Chris Hubbard. Now, Chris Hubbard, remember, they had to hire a new city administrator, which is not a city manager. It's different. A city administrator is like the mayor's assistant that does the day-to-day operations in Mexico Beach, because it has a different form of government than Panama City Beach, Lynn Haven. They actually have a city manager. This Mexico Beach is different. So their city administrator, Doug Baber, when the heat was on and when Al Cathy lost recently, he hightailed it out of here. And so did the assistant chief administrator. And the city accountant abruptly resigned. So her boyfriend, Chris Hubbard, said, I'd like to be the city administrator. I used to be the city administrator under Al Cathy for 7 years. He left in 2014 under political turmoil. But he's back. And Adrian Drama Queen Welly and Jerry Bad Liability Smith, they voted and said, hey, during the interview, after those two guys ran off the other candidate, the third candidate, who happened to be Mayor Miller's first choice, the two guys doing the interview called him up the day before the interview and said, hey, a lot of people are saying you got a bad history, but good luck. Adrian Welly said, I only called him to wish him luck. That's not what the candidate says, though, the applicant. So I suppose we'll get to the bottom of this in a lawsuit under oath, right? People say different things under oath in depositions and to a judge than they say to the people they serve, to their constituents. They lie to their constituents. You ever notice that? By the way, if you lie to your government, you can go to prison. But if your government lies to you, it is Tuesday. It's a different kind of Tuesday. All right. So as of this filing, Chris Hubbard, who they just said, the three amigos said, we vote for him, let's get him in. But Mayor Miller said, I'm not willing to sign the contract just yet because we didn't really go through the process correctly. And I'd like to have it looked into first before I go putting my name on stuff, because it's my neck that's on the line. And they threw a fit. The city attorney said, you can get sued for doing that, lady. And they said, you can't act unilaterally. Well, now there is a lawsuit. And it struck me, Mayor Miller almost looked like she would welcome a lawsuit, because that might help with the transparency that she's been trying to bring to the city. So That's what they're talking when they talk about Chris Hubbard. He's been voted in, but he's not. His contract has not been signed yet. But he's acting as city administrator to the which the CFO CEO, the mayor, does not approve of. Not yet, until the investigations are over, and maybe the lawsuit. But the lawsuit says that the city is acting through Chris Hubbard, who purports to be the city administrator and is neither a city or contract employee. Wow. Has denied petitioner access. So in other words, Chris Hubbard, who these three amigos just voted in, he's denying the mayor access to all the city's financial records. Gosh, I wonder why. A city that got more than $100 million in FEMA money. This is kind of strange. Additionally, the city is claiming that the mayor does not have the right to the records. How do you like that? The city is saying the mayor does not have the right to the records, the CFO, and declared that the new guy Hubbard, who isn't even a city employee yet because the contract's not signed. These guys say he, the former accountant's boyfriend and former city administrator to Al Cathy, he is in charge of all the city's financial records now. And you, mayor, you don't have access to it all. He does. And he gives us reports, and we trust him. Okay. That's what this is saying. This is in violation of city charter, says the lawsuit. Now, Mexico Beach, before 2005, did have a city administrator, far back as the 80s, I believe. But it was not formalized, right? So in 2005, and I'm going off of the city's 2015 legal opinion. That's where I'm getting the information I'm telling you now. It's from the city's 2015 legal opinion by Harrison Sale McCloy, another big, powerful law company, law firm. So they said, and they were correct when I read everything and cross-referenced it. They said in 2005, Mexico Beach decided to codify the position to make it formal, right? And these ordinances here made it formal. And in the ordinance, which does not supersede the charter, the city council and the votes in ordinances, that is the lowest level of authority. The next highest level of authority is the charter, which is like the Constitution. And the next highest level of authority is the state, which created the city, the county and the city, okay? That in law is known as the doctrine of, it's known as the rules of construction, right? That which is created is not more powerful than its creator. Kind of like the states created the federal government, and the Constitution says, therefore, the federal government is not more powerful than the states, except only in the things that the states delegated power to the Constitution, to the federal government through the Constitution. Same type thing. Right now, Richard Wolf saying, huh? So these ordinances in 2005, they assigned the duties of city administrator. They created officially the position. But here's the thing. Those ordinances said that the city administrator answers to the council as a whole. But the problem is this. The problem is the mayor shall be the chief elected administrative and fiscal official for the city. In other words, the mayor has more duties over and above just legislation, just voting. Here's what the charter says about the council as a whole. And this is where you get very deceitful people like Adrian Welly and the attorney Clint McCahill. They only read you the first part of that sentence. They only say, and WMBB reports it, all powers of the city shall be vested in the city council. And then they just stop. but I circled a word. Can you see that? Except is otherwise provided by law or by this charter. And that would be this part. The mayor shall be. And that's why the mayor makes more money than the rest of the council, because the mayor has additional duties and obligation and responsibilities. It's not that it's a power grab like they keep saying. It's no, man, if the feds come in and want to know about that $100 million in FEMA money, if they ever get around to it, or the sheriff's office, her neck's on the line. So she has to have access to all this stuff. All right, so back to the lawsuit. The lawsuit's saying, look, that ordinance in 2005 that officially created the city administrator position, it's violating the charter. Basically because if the city administrator has to answer to the entire council, which is an extra duty than voting, what it does is it undermines this. And that's what the 2015 opinion of the city, legal opinion of the city, said as well, that no ordinance can take away the mayor's authority, the mayor's duties and responsibilities, because those were designated by the charter. All right. Hopefully I can just zoom through the rest of this, but I needed you to really understand these things. And there have been folks who are saying that Bernie Thompson's not telling you the truth. That's not what it says. It is what it says. It is what it says. And we'll get to the bottom of it now, evidently, in court. So these ordinances assigning the duties to city administrator in 2005 to be subjected to the control of the city council, and whose responsibilities are subject to change at the discretion of the city council, is in direct conflict with the charter's assignment of duties as the mayor, as the chief elected administrative official for the city. Pursuant to 7.02 of the city charter, all ordinances, insofar as they conflict with or inconsistent with the provisions of this charter, shall be declared invalid and are hereby repealed. So the ordinance that created the city administrator and said the council was the boss of the city administrator, that ordinance is in conflict with the city charter and is really invalid. The city council cannot delegate the mayor's duties away from her without an amendment to the city's charter, which they're working on now. If the city wishes to change the form of government to a city member government, that should have read, by the way, if anybody's watching who can make a fix, that should read, if the respondent wishes to change the form of government to a council manager form of government, which is what they're trying to do. That is what Lynn Haven, it's a council manager form of government, because the city manager works at the pleasure of the council. That's what they're claiming they have now. So that needs to say council manager, not council member. I see what they're trying to say, but I'm telling you that doesn't work. It should say council manager form of government. And you can look at the Florida League of Cities. This is funny. It says what each city's government is, whether it's a council dash manager form of government, or some of them say weak mayor. They all have different ones. Well, strangely, the Florida League of Cities does not say what it says in the charter. The Florida League of Cities says Mexico Beach is a council manager or form of government. I'm sorry. It says council mayor, I believe is what it says, or weak mayor dash council. It says something completely contrary to the charter. You can look it up for yourself at the Florida League of Cities. And the way the Florida League of Cities finds out what type of government all 412 cities have is they simply ask the city administrator or the city manager. So that's what probably Doug Baber or Mario Gispert would have said. Oh, yeah, it's a weak mayor dash council form of government. So whoever told the Florida League of Cities that lied. But that's what's up. we'll figure it out, I guess, through the lawsuit now, though. All right. Under Florida statutes, the city may, by ordinance or the electors of a municipality, may petition by petition signed by 10% of registered. Okay, so this explains how the city can change from a manager-council form of government to a council-manager form of government, from a mayor-council form of government, which it is now, to a council-manager form of government, which is how they're trying to operate now. The city is circumventing, amending the charter by delegating the duties of mayor assigned by the charter to the city administrator. In other words, the city is not following the charter. It's pretending to be what they're trying to make it through an amendment. So they're acting right now. Look, hey, I got a question for you, Adrian Welly, because he's the smartest guy. Councilman Welly, if right now you guys are not doing anything wrong, if you guys have not subjugated or rather subverted the authority of the mayor that the city charter designated to it, if you're not doing that right now, then why did you form a charter amendment committee? Why are you trying to put on the ballot an amendment to change the charter to a council-manager form of government? Why are you doing that? Because you're violating it right now. And the only way you can do it properly is through an amendment if the voters vote for it. A city charter functions as a constitution from which the city council cannot materially deviate by means which the charter was adopted. All right, this is case law saying the city charter is stands at the top of the heap, and you guys can't just make stuff up. You can't just go making up stuff, is what this is saying. All right, I'm going to read to you the rest of this. The lawsuit is making 5, I don't know what they would call it. Sometimes in a civil lawsuit, it's called prayer for relief. But there are 5 things that Mayor Michele Miller, through this lawsuit, is demanding that the city council and the city attorney and Chris Hubbard, who is in there acting as the city administrator without a contract being signed. There are 5 things that she is demanding in this lawsuit. And I'm going to finish the next couple of pages and read you those 5 things right after this.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome. Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777.
This is my favorite part, actually, right here. 16. The mayor-council form of government, which Mexico Beach is, has a well-known meaning in this state. While it is true that the details of a mayor-council form of government may vary city to city, the distinction between a mayor-council form and a pure council form of government is clear and involves a mayor having additional authority to act compared to other individual council members. And then it quotes case law. Now, where in the world does Marie Maddox, the attorney representing Mayor Miller, where does she get that from? That can't be right. The city says it's not right. That is verbatim from the city's 2015 6-page legal opinion by Harrison Sale McCloy. Verbatim, that's the city's own position. Now, the current 3 amigos, they got a different position. The current city attorney has a different position, but that's not the position of the city. of the 2015 legal opinion of the city. That's it, verbatim. That's unbelievable. I'd say that's pretty strong. The mayor, Michele Miller, has been damaged by the city, usurping her authority as mayor and breaching the public trust in the city council. The mayor is concerned about her obligation to ensure that the city is financially responsible and that the funds are appropriately spent. She has been thwarted in that regard, which is her duty under the city charter. Additionally, the city is currently in non-compliance with timely filing, that says filing the city's independent audit to the state of Florida. And section 4.07 of the city's charter states basically that you got to get the audit done on time. Okay, I'll save that. This is filed under, if you want to read this yourself, it's public record. Just go to, by the way, just for Vice Mayor Richard Wolf, that means that the public can see it. Doesn't need permission, and the press can even record it if they so choose. So if you go to the Bay County Clerk of Court website and you search the cases, do like a case search, and you type in Miller, Michele, she spells it with one L, Michele. This will come up, and then you look down, and you got to go down to the filings, and it's this is important because it took me a minute to find this. It's under the it's called complaint. Click on the document that says complaint. That's what this is called, a complaint. That's a lawsuit. All right, so wow. As of now, the city's delay tactics in providing the records to the mayor has put the city in violation of the state of Florida's audit requirements and the city's own charter. The mayor has a clear legal right to the requested relief under the city's charter. The respondent, the city, has an indisputable legal duty to perform the requested action through the mayor-council formed government designated by the city's charter. The mayor has no other legal remedy. In other words, she's got to do this because they're not doing the right thing. The sheriff's office doesn't give a flip if local officials violate the law on video. They don't care. They've been watching that for a long time. And the FBI hasn't done a thing about it either. To a city? Why the FBI, Bernie? Oh, because the city of the city of Panama City Beach also got a bunch of money. Panama City got a bunch of money. Bay County has had like $300 million of FEMA money run through it. Mexico Beach got more than $100 million of FEMA money. It's federal money. That's why. But you're not from around here. As of the date of this filing, a reasonable time had elapsed for a respondent to respond to the mayor's. In other words, it isn't like she just asked last week. She's not jumping the gun. It's been over 4 months. Asking, delaying, people quitting, theater and histrionics led by drama queen Welly and his supporting cast who stay on script. Well, the mayor made a phone call to the, Michele, why'd you make a phone call? The broad made a phone call. Holy smokes. Iron Fist. She made a phone call. What? Yeah, she called the accounting firm and asked what's going on with the access, and then the accountant quit. The lady Debbie quit, and they said it was because somebody here called. Who was it? Who called? And you had all these people like Lee Elzy. Remember Lee Elzy with the planning board, who took a swipe at me and yelled at me? All these people go up there and say, who was it that made a phone call that made Debbie quit? You guys out of your mind. The scripts and the theater are so stupid. The mayor's allowed to call the software company and ask what's going on. Yeah, but you made her. She had to quit. Now we're in Now it's a bad liability. That's where that came from, by the way. It was that very conversation. I can't believe you called him, ran off with it. Oh, my goodness. The mayor can call the software company knuckleheads. She's supposed to. The mayor it would be a derelict of duty if she didn't. Yeah, but is she taking calls from Bernie Thompson? Is she talking to the press? Yeah, she can do that too. Oh, you people are nuts. I'm so glad to see something actually being done. Oh, I need to get to the 5 things she's demanding. The petitioner is entitled to a writ of mandamus that compels the city to give the petitioner access to all records needed in order for the mayor to fulfill her duties as chief elected administrative and fiscal official for the city. Yeah. The mayor is entitled to an injunction that prevents the city from violating the city's charter in the future because more than ample time has passed from the time access to the records was first made. All right. You can see all that. Ooh, there it is. There are the 5 things right there. So the mayor is entitled to an injunction that stops the city from violating the city's charter in the future because the city's utter failure to comply with the city's charter in a timely fashion show that the city is likely to similarly violate the city charter in the future. In other words, these guys are like a mutual fund. Right? Past performance probably is going to indicate what they're going to do next time. Not follow and violate the city charter. Break the law is what it is. It's not like, well, they're not doing what they're supposed to do, but they're allowed. No. It's a crime. All right. Mayor has retained the undersigned attorney, Marie Maddox. Marie Maddox is the attorney in this matter and has agreed to pay the undersigned reasonable attorney's fees that should be ordered to be paid by the city. In other words, Michele, boy, this is going to be interesting. Marie Maddox, the attorney, is what's known as, I'm searching for a word. I'm reaching for a word. Expensive. That's what it is. Expensive. You know, these attorneys like $600 an hour attorneys, and I'm probably insulting her, which I don't mean to do, but they're expensive. So these are the 5 requests made by Mayor Miller. 1, a writ of mandamus requiring a proper response to the mayor's request and requiring the city to allow the mayor full access to the records. That's number 1. Number 2, an injunction that prevents the city from violating the city's charter, which a judge would have to issue, a local judge, by the way, which will be very interesting, as it has done in this case in the future. 3, look at this. Removal of Chris Hubbard, the former accountant's boyfriend that they brought in, who used to be the city administrator under Al Cathy years ago, who had to leave in 2014 under political strife. He's back. Removal of Chris Hubbard from his position as it infringes on the mayor's responsibilities as outlined herein. Yeah, because the 3 stooges are saying that he's the boss and he's the one in charge of the financial records. And if he says the mayor can't see him, she can't see him. That's what they're saying. All right. So this lawsuit says stop that Bolshevik immediately. Number 4, the mayor also demands costs, reasonable attorney fees, and any other relief as the court may deem proper. In other words, oftentimes when you lose a lawsuit, if you brought it on yourself, right, the judge can say, yeah, you got to pay the other side's attorney fees. Number 5, the mayor also respectfully requests an immediate hearing to address the above. Ooh. So let's go to a judge immediately, because what have I been saying? You know what I've been saying, because I say it over and over and over. Ooh, hold on. I almost made a bad mistake. There we go. I almost hit the wrong button, and then I'd have been gone. you know what I've been saying. They need the mayor is requesting an immediate hearing in front of a judge because the city's in a municipal crisis. That's what I've been saying. The city's in a financial crisis. To which Councilman Adrian Welly says, no, it's not. We got more money than we ever had. And the mayor can't see it. She can see it. She just can't see where the checks were written to. Okay. Big deal. Holy smokes. This is a big deal. All right. It'll be really interesting to see how WMBB reports the story. What they've been doing, these guys. Like, I'm not joking. They have these scripts written out. They have these little theater plays written out. And they're trying to say the only problem the city has is that Mayor Meany here has run everybody off. That's the only problem we have. No one wants to work for Mayor Meany. I swear to God, that's what they're saying. And as a matter of fact, a couple of months ago, Councilman Adrian Welly, 3 days earlier, said, we got to work together, even if we don't disagree. 3 days later, they disagreed, and he walked out of the meeting. Remember this? It was like a big play. And then Jerry Smith walked out, and they went on a mini strike until their demands were met. Yeah, starring Adrian Welly, directed by Adrian Welly. Just walked right out of the meeting. Look, there's Doug Baber. He's since hightailed it out of here. And there's Jerry Bad Liability saying, what's going on? I'll go with you. I mean, it's crazy. So we'll find out more. Hey, by the way, if you haven't got yours yet, and you want to make a statement, you want to support my efforts, here's a great, fun way to do it. You get something for it. Get a forensic audit Mexico Beach hat. It's actually $34.99. You say, Bernie, for God's sake, the Liberty Lounge got to keep the lights on. I'm telling you. So, you know, it's expensive, but it's worth it. And you'll love it. Forensic Audit Mexico Beach hat at berniestore.etsy.com. Boy, I'll tell you what, it would sure make me happy to see some hats fly off the shelf. Some of you have them, and some of you love them. Different colors, too. berniestore.etsy.com. And for those of you, of course, who are patrons, I appreciate your support very much. Thank you also to the Unknown Patriot for your support, where I can try to show you the facts, tell you the truth, and maybe even entertain and lampoon some crooked officials if I get the chance. You say, Bernie, that's not journalism, lampooning public officials. Yeah, it is. It really is. See, here we go again. I had an argument one time at a Panama City Beach City Council meeting with Mayor Mike Thomas about this. He said, you're not a journalist. You're a talk show host. I said, I'm a journalist. I have a master's degree in journalism. I know about journalism. It's my craft, right? I would never tell Mike Thomas how to run a diner. Mike's Diner. He has a diner. He's good at that. I would never even think of doing that. But yeah, lampooning has actually got a long tradition in American journalism. You see, journalism's a big umbrella, and underneath it, you have different types. You have straight news reporting, which is what he meant. You're not a reporter, and that's true. You're not an anchor like Tom Lewis, who is supposed to give it to you straight. I am a commentator. I'm a watchdog, so I'm allowed to have an opinion. But I also need to back it up with facts. What about the lampooning and the making fun of people and calling them names? Bernie, that's not journalism. Yeah, it is. Raise your hand if you remember getting a newspaper back in the day. And you'd open it up. What was your favorite section? The op-ed section, right? You pull out the op-ed section, and there's a political cartoon. Political cartoons are like memes today. And they would make fun of public officials. That is absolutely has a long-standing tradition in American journalism. I'm not claiming to be a straight news reporter. I have an opinion. I try to entertain a little bit. But I, more than anything, try to get to the truth. Wherever that truth is, that's the goal of the show. And to be a watchdog of power, which is the job of journalism, the primary role of journalism, to be a watchdog of power, not a lapdog of power.